probably 2 to 3 years. And if you get the wrong quarterback in this situation, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. What do the fans want to do? They want to see this team hoist the Lombardi over their head. They want a Super Bowl, Breezy. That's what they want. And that's why you bring in a guy like Darnold. And this is what I real quick, I want to say this. And again, I love Trey Lance. I think he can be a star. And I think he needs an opportunity. But if he cannot go out to training camp and beat Sam Darnold, he's not the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to see how well Trey Lance has recovered from the surgery.
Yeah.
But I want to rewind selector a little
bit. Okay.
Because there were 55 billion quarterbacks available. And you went and grabbed the quarterback with the highest interceptions. You could have got any quarterback to come in here and compete and possibly, you know what I'm saying? So, and they didn't cost a lot. I mentioned Marcus Mariota. People don't like Marcus Mariota. People say the only game he was good in was the game against the 49ers where he whipped our ass like single-handedly. Definitely did. But at the end of the day, yeah, you could have got this kid in here and he knew what time it was. So if Trey isn't properly ready, or if we know Brock isn't going to be ready health-wise, then you go ahead and enter him, and you can win a game or two. We don't know if we could win games with Sam freaking Darnold, bro.
We don't.
Right. But my point is, out of all the quarterbacks available, they went and got Sam Darnold, A, because he was cheap, and B, because he was young, and they could pay him based off incentives. But if you look at what's his name? Marcus Mariota contract, he ain't making that much more than Sam Darnold.
No, he's not. But I think, again, we have to go back to the coach, too. It's Kyle Shanahan. He has to look at the group of quarterbacks and decide who does he like. And maybe Sam fits his system. He even said that he started watching him years ago, right?
Yeah,
he sees the film on these guys. It's Kyle's job. Remember a couple years back when they were going for Trey Lance? Who was the other guy they were looking at? Mac Jones. So maybe Sam Darnold, he sees something in Sam in his ability to play this offense. And again, it's not what we like. It's not what the fans want. They're going to tell us what they're about. Like that's this week. If you don't realize it, the 49ers, they're going to be brutally honest with us. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, and I appreciate it. They're going to tell us what they want, what they like, what's their goals. They don't care about what we think. Obviously, we're going to have an input. We're going to say what we want to say. But at the end of the day, those are the guys that fit their system. Now, we can disagree all we want because do I think Sam Darnold's the greatest quarterback? No, because I remember last year when we were sitting here and they were like, they might bring in Sam Darnold. And I was like, please don't. Please don't. But in this situation, I've kind of changed my tune. But
I was saying that because of what they would have had to pay. They would have to guarantee that 5th-year option, which was at like 2018. Yeah. So it was a high number.
It was a big number. Number. It's like 20 mil, so over 20 mil.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like, dude, we don't want to pay him and Jimmy if that's the case. It was just like crazy. You don't want to pay two high mid-round, like mid-tier quarterbacks, basically, is the way I looked at it. But now, again, you found Brock, you found Trey, you got these two young guys. And what Jed York said yesterday it tells you where they're looking at from a financial standpoint. They want to build this team around a rookie contract. Brock Purdy's getting $900K. He doesn't even hit $1 million on the cap.
He's not even counted against the top 51.
Counted against the 51 of the cap. Yeah. And then you have Trey Lance, who's making a pretty decent $7 million. I mean, I'd take 7, but compared to quarterbacks, that's not because he's on a rookie quarterback contract. And Sam Darnold's contract, like you said, it's really not much. So they're paying about $13-14 million for quarterbacks. They want their quarterback room to be minimal money so they can build, because they did get Hargrave. They told Jed York, we need Hargrave. Okay, here you go. Let's go pay him. We need to pay Nick Bosa. We need to go extend and pay Ayuk. We need to give him his 5th-year option. So because they have a cheap quarterback room, it allows them to do that. So to me, that's why I think you hit it, is with the value of the contract with Sam Darnold. It was a little cheaper than Mariota, so they went that route. But I honestly think, and listening to Kyle, I think he really likes Sam Darnold's game, and he talked him up, and he says he never got the opportunity. He was in bad situations. And Kyle, he's got the ego. In his mind, he's like, okay, which quarterback can I fix? He wants to fix someone. He wants to be like, because if he puts Sam Darnold out there and Sam Darnold looks good, and instead of seeing ghosts, he sees wins, and you're like, oh, wow, this guy is actually good with Kyle Shanahan. You know how much he can wake up every morning and look in the mirror and say, God, I fixed Sam Darnold. He wants that dub. He wants that dub under his belt. That's the way I see it.
And I see it that way too. It's just interesting that the talk that he's talking, when he talks about Trey Lance, he's not talking about Trey Lance's skill set and his ability to be able to do certain things and things like that. It's more Trey Lance just has to get healthy. And then Trey Lance needs to get out on the football field to earn the role. Well, what the hell has Sam Darnold done in the NFL to earn anything other than the $4 million that you're guaranteeing him? Like, at the end of the day, like, if it's going to be a competition, then throw out the same smoke about both quarterbacks. Like, talk about both of their skill sets, talk about everything that they do well, and then talk about it being a competition. All right, set aside Brock. We know Brock can beat both of these dudes out in a Kyle Shanahan system. We know that. We know it. We watched it. We watched what Brock was able to do. I'm cool with Brock being quarterback one or the leader in the clubhouse. That's not an issue. My issue now is, damn, Kyle, this dude was the key. You gave him the keys last year, and it doesn't matter if you didn't bring in competition or not for him. That's on you. Y'all failed that. You chose to sign Nate Sudfeld, and then you released him when you found out Jimmy Garoppolo was available, and then he got hurt. Like, that's on y'all. Y'all should have brought in better competition.
Yeah, 100%. And, the other key thing last year that happened in the offseason, they did bring in Sudfeld, and they paid him $2 million. They also kept Brock Purdy over Nate Sudfeld, and they were like, all right, you can keep your $2 million. We got to keep this kid. So I think in the back of their mind, they saw this guy, were like, might have something here. Let's just keep him on the back burner, which ended up working out. But
Kyle said it was his preseason play.
Yeah.
And that's what made them say, oh, we can't release this kid. Somebody will pick him up, which is what we saw, right? We saw him play well in the preseason. I thought Nate Sudfeld was highly efficient as well in practice, and Trey Lance obviously it's so funny because Trey Lance was the most inefficient quarterback we had in practice, right? Yeah. And I don't know why. I don't know if they was getting the same looks, the same throws. I don't have that context. But I do remember seeing that Nate Sudfeld. I remember a couple of the beat writers put out, well, in context, they were all check downs. Nate Sudfeld went 7 for 7 and 11 on 11s. And then one of the beat writers were like, but they were all check downs. Like, you get what I'm saying? Whereas Purdy is told, Trey Lance was probably trying to hit different routes and get balls down the field and things like that, which makes it a little bit different. So context matters. But
and not only that, Trey was with the ones because I was there, and it was a whole different situation. Yeah. Trey's with the ones. Good so point. You're gonna have a harder time playing against like Fred Warner and those guys. So context does matter. It was like, I think also too, there's just a lot of pressure on Trey, and I think maybe we're speculating, maybe he didn't handle that pressure good enough. So they're like, okay, we see things in other guys on this team. Again, to me, the one thing that is very blaring with Trey Lance and this like front office and stuff, and I said it to Larry the other day, is I just feel like they never give the stamp of approval to Trey. Like, I feel like he doesn't have like that full support because they were gushing about Brock Purdy, both days. Trey Lance or John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. It's like it was Romeo and Juliet out there. They was talking about, oh, where art thou, my Brock Purdy, man? They was gassing that boy up. So I don't know why Trey doesn't get that same. In my opinion, I feel like he doesn't get the same.
Listen, this is how I look at it. That's a dope ass analogy. Gas, right? So I feel like Trey Lance on 87 right now. Mm-hmm. Like, and they even giving Sam Darnold the middle, and then Brock Purdy the high octane. When Trey Lance got the higher ceiling, and you think he should be high octane because he could do things that none of these other quarterbacks could do, but we won't get a chance to. We're hoping we get the chance to see that, But that all comes down to Trey Lance and how he performs in phase 1, and then how he performs when training camp starts in phase 2. That's all up to Trey, and it sucks, but it is what it is. That's what it's all about. Now Trey's ready for the smoke, but will he be upgraded to one of them other type of premium types of gases?
It's gonna be interesting, man. And Kyle said it. It's going to be hard for him to take that starting job. Like, he's given him the opportunity to go out there and take the job and wow everybody. But it's not, you can't just win it in practice, because that means to me, okay, the example I've used is if Brock Purdy doesn't play for the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, and Trey Lance comes in, okay, he has to win games. He has to show Kyle, like, I could lead this team, win games, and say, hey, look at me, man. I'm out here. I'm taking your job. Brock Purdy's still hurt. He wants to leave without a shadow of a doubt. Like, if they pull Trey Lance, the teams may not be better or may be worse off. He has to show them that he can lead them, he can win games, and he can run the offense. That's what he has to do. So, yeah, training camp's one aspect. One aspect is he has to go beat Sam Darnold, which me and you think it should be easy, right? If Sam Darnold,
it should be a no-brainer.
Should be a no-brainer. Now, phase 2, which you're talking about, the next gas, is go win games in the regular season. Make sure you don't start off slow. So that is what Trey Lance has to do this offseason.
Which is effed up, Raj, because guess what? We're gonna have a new right tackle, and so like it's not, and it's gonna take time for stuff to gel again. And Trey Lance and everybody else gonna have to figure out how to get into some. 4 weeks ain't enough, man.
It's not.
It's not gonna be enough time.
It's tough, man.
If Trey Lance can get this team to go 2-2 the first 4 weeks, then you give him another. You let him keep going.
You got to. And I said this years back when they first traded up and they got him in his rookie season. I remember I said, you got to start the kid. And I said, the moment you do, you don't pull him. And they pulled him after the Houston game. But that's neither here nor there. We can have a whole talk about that.
Wait, no. Yeah, we're going to talk about, why they didn't pull him? Because there was no quarterback competition that year. And if Jimmy was healthy and enough to play a football game, Jimmy would get the nod. So why isn't he not doing that for Trey Lance?
But I guess because what they said, what they prefaced it with, well, based on last year's body of work, Brock Purdy's the guy. And that it makes sense because he won 8 games to the NFC Championship. Yeah. Trey Lance, unfortunately, was injured, and Sam Darnold didn't play. So, in a sense, he lost the job due to injury. But Brock Purdy, is he going to lose his job to injury? Now the question remains is, if Brock Purdy misses those first 4 games of the season, Trey Lance comes in and he goes 4-0, you have to keep the same energy and you have to keep Trey Lance.
That's goodness. If they don't, Raj, I riot. Like I promise you. Yeah, because I need to understand the logic. Don't give me, the running backs won. Oh, the defense won. It's always going to be something different. But the person that's the head of the game next to the head coach is your quarterback. And so at the end of the day, if he goes 4-0 and Brock Purdy's cleared at week 5 to play football, you better not put Brock Purdy back out there. I don't want to see Brock Purdy to after the bye week, if that. You get what I'm saying? And
I feel it, Bray.
The bye week is week 14. That motherfucker better not come into week 15.
If Trey's doing good, man, let him cook, man. Let him cook. I agree with you, Wayne. I would be really irritated because it goes against the whole situation. If you're playing good, you keep rolling with them. So I got 2 super chats. I want to hit Tyler's real quick. Tyler, says, so my question is that can we conclude right now that the Niners like average or slightly above average quarterback play? What do you think? Do you think the 49ers like average quarterback play?
I think the 49ers like quarterbacks they could control. And so is Trey, then the question needs to be, is Trey controllable? And so that might be something deeper to go into on a different topic, because is Trey moldable? He says all the right things. But what if his innate nature makes him want to do something a little different? Maybe that's why he looks so skittish out there on the football field, because he just wants to play football. Yeah. If the kid has an innate ability to make a play happen, which is what they allowed him to do in North Dakota State, opposed to the coach trying to mold him into something that he isn't, maybe that's an issue. And so they like moldable guys like Brock Purdy, like Jimmy. Maybe, and even Jimmy wasn't moldable.
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy wanted to do his thing.
He came in.
He kind of had that little mobility before the ACL, and he even last year joked like, "Oh, I can finally remember the press conference where he's like, yeah, I'm actually getting the call to play." Like, like he kind of threw the little rib shot, and it's like, dang, like 100%. You could tell Kyle and Jimmy were on the outs. Even yesterday when Kyle was talking, he goes, "Oh, so have you talked to Jimmy?" He goes, "The only way you can get to him is get to him face to face." It's like, damn. So they weren't communicating, and I think you're right. In a sense, I feel like Kyle really wants to have control. That's why he doesn't have an offensive coordinator. He likes to kind of control this. He has his script. He likes to make sure certain plays are set up a certain way. He wants to scheme things for his receivers. I feel like Brock, though, last year kind of slowly broke out of the mold because he did have that escapability, and he started to hey, look, I'm going to go do my thing. And I think that's why they like Brock, because he did challenge Kyle a little in the sense of, remember, he was yelling, like the interviews we've heard over the year where Trent Williams was like, yo, Brock was calling me out. We had, people in the huddle saying, Brock was calling me an asshole and this and that. Like, yo, I think that's Brock saying, I get it. You want to control me, but I want to go up above it. So he's kind of taking that leadership role. And Kyle likes those dogs. Look what he did to Brandon Ayuk. He put him in that doghouse, right? And he wants guys that are going to be no nonsense. And if he's going to come at you, he wants like a guy that can kind of bring it back to Kyle. So I don't know. But again, they have had average quarterbacks. So it's a good question.
That's a great
over the years. They've had, his love affairs with Kirk Cousins. Like that to me is an average quarterback. But he's always been around good offenses. Like the Minnesota Vikings. You got Jay Jettis, you had Adam Thielen, you got Dalvin Cook. Like that's a good explosive offense. Great players to, have a quarterback there. He has a decent arm, but to me, Kirk Cousins isn't an elite quarterback. But Kyle Shanahan, you don't tell him that. He loves Kirk Cousins.
He loves Kirk Cousins.
So he loves Kirk Cousins. Like that's his guy. So maybe Kyle does like average quarterbacks. He wants to get the ball out quick. He doesn't care about arm velocity. He doesn't care about throwing the ball deep. He wants the ball quick because he schemes it around the Yak brothers, So maybe he does like average quarterbacks. Shout out to Peachy. Appreciate you. She says, sending my love to my nephew Raj and my boy Wayne, R&B out in these 49er streets. Appreciate you, Peachy. Always a very supportive queen of the empire. I love you. Thank you.
Sure. What's up, Peach? Yeah, man. It's funny because I'm sitting there saying to myself, dude, I don't know why it seems like we don't go out and get those, talented. We pass over Watson. We pass over, these type of guys, Patrick Mahomes, to draft in the trenches. That's where they want to draft. And next thing you know, you just missed your $500 million quarterback who has 2 Super Bowl rings now. How many rings Patrick Mahomes got?
The fact they went into Solomon Thomas and didn't even scout Mahomes. They didn't even scout Mahomes, man.
I don't understand, bro.
I'll never forget it, bro.
They didn't scout Mahomes. You know why? They were new and they were trying to build in the trenches. But that's not an excuse, but that's exactly what they were doing. You heard him say that. He said, we're always looking to build in the trenches. Like
always build. I get it. But that was not the year to build in the trenches. You just took over a team. Go get your franchise quarterback. And then you can build in the trenches all you want. After you
didn't even go like first pick, second pick. They went later in the first round.
Man, I know. So their first round pick, like I'm so happy they actually don't have a first round. Maybe that's why they blew all their first round picks.
Yeah, maybe maybe they suck at drafting first round picks. The only first round pick that panned out for the San Francisco 49ers is Brandon Ayuk. That's it.
And Bosa. Well, you can't miss on Bosa.
No-brainer, man. That was a no-brainer. I mean, like you knew you were gonna draft Nick Bosa, but they traded back up to get Brandon Ayuk. We knew Nick Bosa was the greatest football player of all time coming out of college. Like he was already gonna be the guy, like that, And there was people thought they were gonna get Quentin Williams over Nick Bosa. It's crazy.
That's true. Oh, I remember that. They was like they're gonna get Quentin Williams. I mean, that every year when the 49ers had a high draft pick. There's always drama. I mean, the Trey Lance, it was Justin Fields, it was Trey Lance, it was Mac Jones at 3. It was maybe that's what the 49ers. They were like, we don't want any of this crazy draft drama, and we're not good at first round picks. So let's just focus on the late end. John Lynch said that they're actually focused on the back end of the draft and moving their way the opposite way. They're looking at the 7th round picks before they look at the 3rd round picks. So that's crazy to me. They know
because they're trying to get better value. They're trying to get great value picks, but later in the draft, they feel like they hit more on that. And it helps them, contractual wise. It helps them continue to build the roster. So you get a guy like George Kittle in the 5th round, and then later on down the line, you can make him the highest paid tight end, but he saved you money over the first 4 years of his contract, 4 years of his contract. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's what he did. And then he proved that he was the best tight end to get paid the highest. So they're looking to do that. And that, we talked about why did they trade up to get Trey. I don't understand them. If they don't like Trey Lance and his skill set and abilities, then why draft him? There were plenty of quarterbacks.
I know, man. It just I don't know. Maybe their assessment of talent. I don't know. And they were pressured. If you don't like Trey, maybe they were. I don't know. I always got the vibe that one of them liked a certain guy, and the other guy liked. Like I felt like John Lynch was like pro Trey Lance, and I felt like Kyle might have been pro Mac. But I've seen people say the opposite, like oh, like John liked Mac Jones. I don't know. I feel like one of them liked the other one, but I had to come together and make a unified decision. But we'll never know, man. It's a weird situation that they put themselves in. At the end of the day, I want Trey Lance deserves a shot to go out there and he put his best foot forward, just like he said on the Rich Eisen show. He says, "Look, I want a chance to compete. I know this is Brock's team. I'm not naive." And they said the same thing. They said he's handling it well. He knows the situation. Whether it's with the 49ers or not, Trey Lance deserves a shot.
I'm with it, yo.
I don't know. I'm going to get to some of these super chats real quick.
Let's get him, man.
Nicholas says, "What's up, fellas? You're both a movement yourself, but a force when you're together. Love the R&B collaboration. That should be your theme song, by the way."
I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. I'm a movement by myself. But baby, you make me better. You make me. You can't tell me this song didn't go hard. Fabulous and Neo Timbo on the track. Nick didn't know. Nick thought he was gonna slide that one by your boy Breezie.
He thought he was gonna slide it by. You can't get it past my boy.
He thought he was.
We gotta bring the R&B to the vibe. That's why That's why we bring the vibes out, man. He says quarterback situation is going to be crazy, but it always is, man. We love the juiciness of the quarterback situation. Mimi says, let me pull this one up. Let me get hers up here real quick.
Mimi, what's going on? Mimi,
what's
being
up,
in the
Mimi?
Place. Hey, Lake City, I see you watching. Listen, I'm gonna shoot you a text. Raj and I need a theme song, an R&B type of a theme song for the R&B show. So I'll be hitting you up right after the show, fam.
Yes, sir. We got to get a little with the Wu-Tang vibes and everything. Mimi says the R&B show with a little spice of Wu-Tang. Trey ain't going nowhere. Bang, bang, raw. She telling it like it is, Brett. You know,
she said Trey ain't effing going nowhere.
She ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. So there's been a lot of rumors. That's a good segue because I wanted to talk about this. And I said what I just said is whether he's on the Niners or not, should Trey Lance deserves a spot. There's a lot of people out there saying that their Niners are going to trade him. And I said myself, it sounded like they may, look into that. I feel like a draft day trade isn't out of the blue, it's not out of the ordinary. It would be something that I'd be like, wow, okay, they did it, but I wouldn't be 100% surprised. I don't know. So based on that and all the rumors, Larry Krueger, you were just on with him. He was talking about he thinks that they're going to trade him. Do you think Trey Lance, day one starter, if Brock Purdy's not healthy? What say you?
Yeah, that's it's tough, right? Let me make this clear. I gotta make sure I make it clear. I don't want Trey Lance to go effing anywhere. I want him to get the opportunity, which will be in OTAs. He's gonna get the opportunity. I don't see him being traded on draft night because I think he gets the opportunity. Could he be traded by the trade deadline? Well, that's another question. We'll wait till we get to that. That's November. But I don't see him getting traded on the draft because I just don't feel like a team is going to blow the 49ers away with the package deal. Now, Larry did say there are select fewer teams. Tennessee, New York Jets.
Tennessee, Arrested Development, of course.
Arrested Development. Lord, I've really been real stressed. Right. Listen.
Take me to another place. Yeah. To another land. Let's go, man.
No, let me understand the plan. Listen, so there's a possibility that like those are the three teams. If on draft, it would be one of those teams. It would be the Jets, the Titans, somebody that knows Trey Lance really well, somebody that'll be able to get him going right into their rotation. They already got stuff built around them. He'll get that opportunity. It'll be those type of teams, and they'll compensate the 49ers. They can compensate the 49ers a little bit extra better than any of the other teams. You know what I'm saying? They won't mind spending because they know everything that they'll get in the Trey Lance. But that shit ain't happening neither. At the end of the day, I don't really feel like Trey Lance is going anywhere. I'm with Mimi B on this. It's just that we got to have the conversation because there's always an opportunity for trades And so because there's opportunity for trades, we got to have the adult discussion. It's just what it is.
They said it. They said it. They said we always look for ways to improve this team. Like, and they're not going to turn down any opportunity. If the opportunity strikes hot and someone says, yo, we're giving you a first round pick, a player, like, you have to look at it and be like, oh, wow. Because again, the window, win now, 2 years. If you can get a right tackle for the future, if you can get an edge rusher, and they make like a nice offer for Trey because they're like, yo, he's better than any of the quarterbacks in this draft. Yeah. Let us take him off your hands. I'm going to say they definitely consider it. And John and Kyle said that. They didn't shoot it down. Nope. They didn't shoot it down. But I agree. I think that because of what happened last year with the quarterback situation, the injuries, and again, building around a cheap contract nucleus that you have with the 3 quarterbacks, I don't think they do it. And that's why one reason they said, because someone asked them a question of, oh, well, what about Lamar Jackson? They said it doesn't make sense for us cap-wise, so we're not going to do it. Like, and that's why you really got to kind of look into what they say and say, okay, based on that, they want to keep these 3 quarterbacks because, again, the money, the contract money. It's, maybe if Trey Lance goes crazy and, he looks good at the start of the season, maybe down at the trade deadline, they could trade him. But again, this is something I told you behind the scenes. I want to ask the question of, okay, everybody's saying you're going to trade Trey Lance. Everybody says trade Trey Lance because, that's the cool talk on the word on the street. That's the cool talk in Niner Twitter. Well, why doesn't everybody say, why don't we trade Brock Purdy if he's that good?
I don't know. Can't we get more for Brock? I mean, Brock,
right? If he's your guy,
bunch of games in a row, efficient quarterback, had the highest completion percentage toward the end of the season, and didn't lose until the NFC Championship. If I could flip Brock for a first round pick, that motherfucker gone. I just got a first round pick for a 7th round pick. I'll do it again. I'll draft it. What's that? You ever watch I don't care what show you watch, but you familiar with The Wire, bro? You ever watch The Wire?
Yeah. Oh, bro.
You know the senator from The Wire? He be like,
Yeah, hell no. I ain't, man. That's crazy.
But he does it in every show. It's like, if he don't do it, I ain't watching it. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I feel.
Oh, man. What's going on? My man Sean says, ain't no way I'm trading Trey. Come on, Breezie. They ain't trading. The Niner fans like Trey.
But Sean, think about it, though. Are you really serious about that? Because it's clear that they're all in on Brock. And I'm with you. Ain't no way I'm trading him neither. But I don't think that's how the team is thinking. I think the team is saying to myself, all right, let's see what we got in this kid. Let's see if he can stay healthy first and foremost. Can he stay healthy? Then let's see if he can, what he's got. And they won't really even know how healthy he's going to be, but they're going to monitor his health, crazy like in OTAs and ramp it up a little something. So we're going to see. They're going to test him out, and they're going to put him to the test. The kid's got to pass the first phase. He passes the first phase. I'm confident he'll pass phase 2. And then I'm confident he'll remain here. But again, the team is all in on Brock. There's nothing more. They said it. I don't know how else to say that they're not, because they said it. I mean, John said it. Kyle said it. He co-signed with John. And the only person that didn't say it was Jed York, but he just want to win a goddamn championship.
Yeah, he just wants to upgrade it to. He wants to host the Super Bowl. He wants the money. He just wants the money flowing in.
He said, listen, what he said, Raj? He said, look, man, we got the World Cup, and then it'll be really dope, and we can host Super Bowl 60 like the year right after.
He goes, I'm cool with what they do with Trey. He goes, don't ask me. He goes, they can wait another 2 years.
The funniest part about his conversation was when they asked him about upgrades, and he everything he said was bullshit. And then he mentioned the World Cup coming. First, he was talking about, we want to make sure we give our fans like the greatest experience, blah, 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 blah. And none of the beat writers like asked him about upgrading, like, to the regular stuff in the stadium. And then once he mentioned World Cup, I mean, the soccer World Cup, I knew you knew what it was all about, yo. Yeah, those upgrades aren't for us.
It ain't for us. It's the seat. And that's what it was. If you look at the articles that Matt Barrows posted, the seats. It's the upgrade, the luxury seats. The luxury seats. Who gonna sit in the luxury seats other than them so they can watch the World Cup? And then the scoreboard. They want a pretty looking scoreboard because they're gonna be up there looking at it while they drinking and having a siesta. Bro, we need a roof in that stadium. Come on, man.
Hey man, he only asked for 120 million, and I heard the roof is like in the billions. So
go ask for $1 billion. You got to. I didn't even know this fund existed, Breezy. Like I'm seeing we were borrowing from the NFL stadiums. I was like, what?
That was the funniest part too, because he said, "Oh, I'm quite confident they're gonna give me this motherfucking money." Like oh yeah, listen, we're gonna get approved. It's only 120 million. Like
I'm saying, man, like bro,
it's
only
102.
Come
yeah,
on,
man, it's
we need some shade. That stadium, I almost died in that stadium.
Yo, if you've never been to Levi Stadium, there's a certain hour in that game where the sun is Willie beaming. I don't care if you go in the winter time and the cold, there's a Willie beaming section. And it happens every game. I've been to several games. Does not matter. I actually rather go to a road game than go to a game in Santa Clara. So
it's bad, man. It's so just, I don't know, man. Like when that heat beams on you, it's demoralizing. I remember a game I went to, Seahawks game a couple years back, and after the game, I was so dehydrated. Like I think I had a heat stroke playing. I really did. I got in my car, I was like dizzy. I was like, oh my God, walking back to my car. I literally think I had a heat stroke that day because it was a little foggy driving home. I was like, what the hell just happened? Like I felt weak, man. It was like the heat and I had so much water, it didn't matter. I got dehydrated because it was just so hot. Facts. But yeah, man, he don't care about us. He wants to make sure the big wig seats are nice and comfy. So
he my whole point of that was he tried to make it sound like it was about us. Yeah. And I'm like, he must have didn't read the article. Yeah. We know what it's about, dog.
We know what it's about. But again, going back to the trade thing with Jed, he's like, whatever, dude. I'm fine with him. He goes, he's a good young kid, and we found this great guy in Brock, and look, he just took us by storm, and they all did it. You're right. They stand behind Brock, so that's why, to answer my question, which you very nicely did, is they're standing behind Brock Purdy because of what he did last year, and they want to win games. And they don't care who it is. They want to make sure they win games so they can win Super Bowls. You win Super Bowls, you put more seats put more butts in the seats, and they can upgrade those premium seats even better. So that's what it is. If Brock Purdy's the guy that can win games, that's the guy they want. And he's cheap. You build around a young quarterback. They laid it out on the table. Yeah. Tyler, again, he says, we got a super chat from Tyler. Appreciate you, my boy. He says, Raj and Wayne, personally, I think Trey was set up for failure with us because us being in win now mode, which is why I think Kyle didn't play Trey. So a lot of people say this, which is a good point because, again, win now mode, they don't want to waste years on developing a quarterback. You need a guy that could come in and win. And what Brock did last year, he came in and they won games. So what do you think? Was he set up for failure or was it just bad timing?
Yeah, I don't think he was set up for failure. That's a good point though, Tyler, but I don't think he was set up for failure. I think for Brock, okay, let me just remind you how the 49ers draft. Okay. So the 49ers started to draft the last 3 seasons for the future. So when they drafted Trey Lance, it wasn't for the year Jimmy Garoppolo was still here. They were going to wait till Jimmy Garoppolo's guarantees were over with. And then, once that was done, they felt like they can trade Jimmy Garoppolo. But Jimmy Garoppolo ended up getting injured. Right. And so that hurt the development a little bit of Trey, even though they decided to go with Trey Lance that next year. Like he didn't get to develop his rookie year because, like Tyler said, they were in win now mode. I don't think that's failure on them because I really feel like the plan was to let Trey develop last season. That was the plan. Unfortunately, Tyler, it got derailed when he got derailed. Yeah. And so they drafted Brock Purdy to be not a replacement for Trey Lance. That's not what Brock Purdy was. Brock Purdy, they drafted him to see if he was going to be worth enough to be a backup on this team.
He was a developmental quarterback for them, really.
Straight up. They knew there were traits that they liked in him. They had a 5th round grade on him, but there were his attributes, weak arm, short guy, a lot of stuff that was like, hey, we're not going to draft him in the 5th round, but I tell you what, if he's there chilling in the 7th round and nobody picks him up, let's go and snag him because we had a 5th round grade on him. We could bring him in here and kind of get him worked out. For Trey, Raj said this is bad timing because what happened? Trey got hurt and then Brock took off.
He came in and he took advantage of the op. What did Richard Sherman used to always say? He goes, you got to take advantage of the op. And Brock Purdy did. He had no pressure, nothing to lose, everything to gain. And he was like, holy crap, I'm not going to just come in to be a spot starter. I want to show you that I can actually be the guy. And it turns out the tables turned. He wasn't the developmental quarterback. He was the guy that could actually be the leader based on what he did. And it might be that Trey was the developmental quarterback. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the experience, and he never really got that opportunity because you're right. Last year, he got hurt, unfortunately. But that rookie season, and this is something I always say, is he should have given him that opportunity that rookie season. But I get it. You know, his win now season, he's young. You got Jimmy. He's winning games, and you're blinded by that. You're like, oh, man, if we keep Jimmy upright, you know we can get back to the Super Bowl, which we did. But in hindsight, you look back and you're like, well, you traded for this young man. You put all those chips on board for him, all the first-round picks. Why don't you use them, you know? And I always go back to with the Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick, he took Mac Jones, right, in that first round. He had Cam Newton there. He cut Cam Newton, says, goodbye, we're going to go with the rookie. And I feel like it would have been crazy. Fan base would have revolted. And maybe we don't win a lot of games that year. Like, it might have been a lost season, but Trey would have got his development. So it's tough, man. I don't know if he was set up for failure. It definitely was bad timing because, again, a Super Bowl, and that is a good point, Tyler, because it was a Super Bowl win now roster. And you put yourself in this position of, damn, do we want a losing season when we have a win now team to develop this guy? But they knew they had to upgrade that quarterback position. But then they kept Jimmy, and it's like, damn. And then he gets hurt, and then we're down through the same cycle 2 years in a row. So it's bad timing, bad luck, and some maybe some bad decision making. I don't know. In retrospect, like, I'm sure they thought it was a great idea, right. But now as we flash forward 3 years later, it was a weird decision.
I don't know if it was a weird decision. I think it was just more like a decision that just didn't go the way they had planned.
Yeah.
I think you trade up, and I see Mimi, I saw your comment here. I'll try to address it. Like, why go after a quarterback that had less playing time and all that type of stuff? I mean, would you been happy if we went with Justin Fields and he still got hurt and didn't turn out to be great and all that type? I don't think it really would have made much of a difference because they still drafted Brock. They still were going to need a backup quarterback. Like, they still were. So if something was to happen, Brock still would have came in here. And then let's say we drafted Justin Fields. Like, we would be having the same conversation.
Yeah, you know, if he would have went hurt, it's the same thing. Like, people say, would you rather have Fields or Trey Lance?
Right.
I mean, if he would have got hurt, it was the same conversation. And so in retrospect, I guess it didn't matter who they took if they would have ended up getting hurt. That's the thing. If they would have just ended up getting hurt, we're in the same position. The key is, you can't have these injuries. It's you know, it's unfortunate, you know. And 49er Jeff says, I hate to say this, but we're cursed with the injury bug. You know, I see Darnold starting a game.
I mean,
I could see it too. And that's what I said earlier is, why are they taking Darnold?
He's right.
It's because they need to make sure that Josh Johnson situation doesn't happen again. Because if whatever happens and Sam Darnold has to be the starter because of injury, you want to make sure you got a guy that can come in and win games at least for a time. So
we just can't escape injuries. It doesn't, and the injury bug, 49er Jeff, it has no, like, it just picks whatever position it wants to get on, and then boom, you know what I mean? So last year was quarterbacks. Year before it was probably a different position, and year before that it was a different position. But last year it was the quarterbacks, like all of them.
Mm-hmm. I know, all of them. It's crazy. It's unfortunate, but that's every year since the 49ers took over, or Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took over. Like, there was even a year we went through Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard, and Jimmy Garoppolo. They all got. I'm like, they all got hurt.
Bro. Yeah. That it's this part two.
It's
right?
Like part two.
I just feel like the quarterbacks we have now are better. Diego, what's good, my man?
My man Diego says, Brock is our guy. He showed enough to be the franchise quarterback. But I'm going to play devil's advocate. Did he? He won 8 games, and I know what he did was an amazing run. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, he had CMC last year. None of these quarterbacks. Well, Jimmy had CMC. He looked better. But was 8 games enough to deem him the franchise quarterback? Because this is what I've heard on Twitter. Right? The streets are talking to me. Yeah. They said when Jimmy Garoppolo won 5 games, they paid him way too early. They gave him the money. And then look what happened. They busted a little too early with paying Jimmy, that money. Is it a little premature to say Brock Purdy is the franchise quarterback?
Not at all. No. I don't think so. Because he didn't just win 8 games. He won what 6 regular season games and 2 playoff games. And if you take the playoff games, they magnitude they're just higher. They're worth way more. And it's unfortunate because I just got this funny mother freaking feeling he would have had 3 playoff games and then 4. Like think about it. And so, and we said if Brock would have won the Super Bowl, he was the guy going forward, right? Well, he got hurt. So you could say his trajectory was Super Bowl caliber winning. Listen,
I agree.
We're not making the decision, guys. I just heard John Lynch say that he was the leader in the clubhouse, and I heard Kyle Shanahan say, "Yeah, Brock's the guy, and Trey Lance has a chance to regain it." That's what I heard. Those were out of their mouths, which makes me think he's the franchise guy. Now, when Brock comes back, is he going to be the same Brock? I don't know.
That's the key, based on last year, and they're basing it on last year, which everything they said, I 100% agree. And what Brock did was amazing. He showed leadership. He showed poise. Like, I was like, damn, this is a rookie. So I could only imagine him getting better. And Brian Greasy as the QB coach, like, that combination was amazing. Kyle Shanahan, like, he might have found his guy. Like, you don't know what goes behind. Like,
he found his Kirk Cousins.
He found his Kirk Cousins 2.0. I honestly think he did.
I really feel like that, guys. He doesn't have the arm of Kirk Cousins, but man, he plays football.
He plays so good, man, and he can run this system so good, and his mobility. God, dog, man. I agree that Brock Purdy could be that franchise quarterback, but I don't know if it's too early to be there, man. It might be a little too early to say that. That's because fair. We got to see, because we still haven't seen the full body of work for Trey Lance. If they give him the same playbook, the same everything, put him in the same situations, and he doesn't look as good, then that's a different story. But I do think right now, Brock Purdy, based on what they said, he definitely should be the starting quarterback. Like, it's his job to lose. I do not disagree with that take. Like, what Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch said this week, I was like, okay, tell me something I don't know, So
that's fair. That's fair. Before we get to this next thing, let's do a quick pause in the show. Number one, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. We got both streams streaming. All right. And all the super chat contributions that you guys contribute today on today's show, we split the proceeds. So if you want to support 2 great content creators, we truly would appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to both channels. And Raj, I tell you what, this is an R&B show. So I got to hit you with an R&B question.
Okay.
All right. All right. Jodeci or Drew Hill?
Oh, that's tough, but I gotta go with Jodeci, man. Jodeci was like peak to me. Drew Hill was good. Don't get me wrong, but Jodeci, come on, man. That's panty dropper music right there. You go Jodeci, it's game over. I like Jodeci over Drew Hill, but Drew was nice.
Drew had a lot of hits.
Yeah.
They had way more hits than Jodeci, but music had changed by then.
Jodeci was man.
There's no way. I feel like it's blasphemous if I pick Drew Hill over Jodeci, but Drew Hill had way more records, way more singles, way more hits.
It's tough, man. But Jodeci, man, if you like, I'm talking about straight like R&B. You want to set the mood. You want to come home.
Devontae swing, like the music was always tight.
It was
with Jodeci. It always was. And then that raspiness voice.
That's it.
Of Casey Haley, and JoJo gave you the nice. The
vocals, man, hit you with the vocals. I mean, that was like super. To me, that was top tier. Like, that's
all right. In the chat, put it in there. Jodeci or Drew Hill. Raj will post some of those joints up. You know what I'm saying? Jodeci or Drew Hill. You got to pick one, man. You got the group of the '90s and the group of the 2000s. They were literally the same group.
They you know what? You're right. Drew Hill was like the Jodeci of the 2000s.
They were the Jodeci of the 2000s, yo.
Big, bro.
That's exactly what they were. Cisco was Casey.
Cisco was, bro, when he did his own thing solo, he like just went crazy. He was so big, he was like, yo, I gotta do my own thing, man. Yeah. But he was on another level. But Jodeci, I don't know. Maybe I just love the 90s so much because that was like my favorite era. But God, Jodeci to me is top. It's tough to top them.
Jodeci was they were definitely on point. And their music to me, they sparked a different version of R&B. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you go to their first single, Forever My Lady, and you end on something like, that they later did down the line, I mean, you knew what you were getting from Jodeci. Drew Hill was dope though.
They were dope.
Twisted,
and Drew Hill was dope because around that era, like I feel like the R&B era, it was like a lost art, the R&B, because now there's like not much R&B.
Right.
It was like the last like peak of that era. But 90s, man,
they want us to sing. They put in take my money, do my house and my cars. Woo! They forever my lady. They had some hits, yo. They
did, man. It was good. But Jodeci, man, I just love that.
I don't know. It's a tough question, but listen, I'm with you, Raj. I'm Jodeci in it all day.
All day. Hey, if they both come on the radio, I'm gonna listen to them both. But if I got a gun in my head and you make me choose, I'm taking Jodeci. So
Rothesis, go check the hits, bro. Like real talk. Like Drew Hill got way more singles because you got to remember Jodeci didn't do they upbeat stuff. They didn't really do nothing. They did Get On Up a little later on the Hotel, the Sex, the Afterlife, the Party, whatever the name of that junk was, and then they had the How Do You Want It with Tupac.
Ooh, that was it.
How Do You
Want It? That was the one.
All right. So what we're gonna do is so at the end of the show, they're gonna ask us questions about R&B battles. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll answer their questions. So say that to the end. We got a couple of more things we're gonna talk about. All right, guys. So just save y'all battles to the end because I see them popping up.
I know. I see them. Oh man, that's crazy. Okay. So obviously we spent the majority of the time talking about quarterbacks, but there was a couple other things that to me was pretty big over the last week. So I'm gonna get this one out of the way. Brandon Ayuk, my boy, I'm wearing his Brandon Ayuk gear today.
That's a dope shirt.
That's my guy, man. This is my guy. Brandon Ayuk, they're gonna pick up his 5th-year option. They haven't done it officially yet, but they're planning on picking it up. So next year he'll make $14 million. People were, reportedly having calls on interest in trades for him. Obviously he's their top wide receiver. He's wide receiver 1. He's the 4th option. Got 1,000 yards on this team last year. He's in his contract season. And I'm sure teams are like, hey, what's up with Brandon Ayuk? Obviously, I don't think they're going to trade him. And I think next year they're going to have to figure out a way to extend him. But, it's good to know that they're going to pick up that 5th-year option. And there's a lot of talk. I was talking to Cam Inman last night, and I said, do you think that next year they get to the point where they have to decide if they're going to keep both Debo and Ayuk or just one of them? Or what's the issue? Like, I've seen a lot of people say trade Debo or trade Ayuk, see what you can get out of them. I hope they both stay, but next year they are going to be in a situation where, okay, you have Debo and Ayuk. Can you pay them both? Can you restructure some contracts and pay them both? Tough. Should they pay them both? What do you think?
I know that's a tough question. I mean, yeah. I don't want this team to ever break up. And they keep these young ass quarterbacks on their roster, and they don't go for these quarterbacks. They keep just retooling that, which is not a good idea. You want to find a guy so you can stick with it. Then you can pay him both. But I don't know, man. I want him to. I don't want Debo to go. Debo is not a typical wideout. He's a Swiss Army chess piece. I don't know. He's just something you want on your team, period.
Yeah, he's one of one.
You just want him. He's one of one. There it is. You give Debo Samuel the ball, he's gonna make a play. Debo to me is a playmaker. Like I don't care if he's behind the line of scrimmage. I don't care if he's catching the pass. I don't care if he's running a route down the field. You know what I'm saying? That was like they only hit and they only jammed to Christy Marie. I mean, they had another song, but they didn't do anything. I Want to Sex You Up, and that was on the New Jack City soundtrack too, by the way. But no, seriously, like with Debo Samuel, man, you can't get rid of him. I know he's gonna get older, but he's gonna, Brandon Ayuk's gonna need that bag. It all comes down to what he does this season. Let's see what happens.
Again, this is a monumental year for Debo. This is a huge year for Ayuk because you're right. If he wants to get paid and be that top dog in the wide receiver room, he got to go play like it. He got to have another season like he did this year. Go put out a Pro Bowl season. And I get it. A lot of people are down on Debo because of last year, but he didn't get to train last year. He really didn't because he was focused on the contract situation. And, he didn't want to risk getting injured. So he had to wait and do his training after the contract or spot train throughout the offseason. Because now you see him right now. He's been in the lab for the last couple weeks grinding, loading. He's posting pictures every day like he was.
You ain't see him do none of that stuff last year.
Yeah, you didn't see that shit. You didn't see that. It was more, I changed my PFP on
Instagram.
I unfollowed RSF 49ers. It was that kind
of stuff. Wait,
he
unfollowed you?
For a minute. So you don't remember the story? It was crazy.
Debo was like the king, bro.
I was in the middle of all the controversy, dude. It was crazy. So he unfollows the 49ers, and then more importantly, he unfollowed me. And we posted it. Everybody's like, oh shit, he unfollowed Raj and the 49ers. And then of course, when things went good and he signed it, I remember CBS even posted it. They were like, he followed the 49ers again and RSF 49ers. They were like, oh, you got him back, bro. It was crazy. And then he wasn't responding to any of my DMs. As soon as he got the bag, yo, what's up, bro? I was like, come on,
That's
man.
What's up. That's what's up, yo. I'm going to need you, Raj, to be like, listen, my man Breezie, he a good guy. I'm not out here trying to get nobody. Because the players, I feel like some of them are cool, but then some of them just be like, block me. Why is Tabor Pepper blocked me?
He blocked you? Tabor's my boy. I talk to him all the time.
No, Tabor, why you block
Breezie? Tabor, I gotta talk to my boy.
Hit him up in the DMs. Hit him up on the text, the two-way.
Oh, come on, man.
Get the Tabor's my boy. Out. I'm trying to figure out. He was asking people to help him in the situation. I'm like, yo, I would, but you blocked me. I don't know what I said. Maybe I said something like, "Oh snap," and then I don't know what I said. But nah, man, seriously, I get why players. I mean, that's why I don't at a lot of the players, and I tag them on certain things because I want them to get their recognition. It's all about bigging them up. You know what I mean? And they deserve their flowers.
Some players don't like being tagged. I don't know if you know the story. So Dante Pettis, he hated my page. The bro blocked me 2 times. I had to get my boys to get him back. So when he was at the team, he's soft, bro. Anyways, I used to be so supportive of Dante. I was one of the guys that was like, I'm never gonna, I was Dante Pettis. You're gonna be that dog this year. And I post about him, and the comments was always like, oh, you beast, you trash. He's soft. You need to hit the weights and this and that. They was gassing him. So he blocked me one time. Then my boy who knows the team, he was out at one of the Vegas parties that year, and he was like, yo, I'm with the Niners, with the receivers. Yo, check it out. He sent me, I was like, is Dante Pettis there, by the way? He goes, yeah, Dante's here. I was like, hey, tell him to follow me back on Instagram. He blocked me. He goes, really? And we were cracking up about this situation. So the next morning I wake up, there he is, Dante Pettis, back in my feed. We cool. He's unblocked. I'm unblocked. And then the moment he gets cut from the 49ers, 2 hours later, I'm blocked from Dante. And I still can't go and see his post on my
That's funny, yo.
It's fucking hilarious, bro.
Currently, I'm only blocked by Tabor, but on Instagram, I can't comment on Kinlaw stuff. There are a couple of players that they won't let me comment. It's like I'm.
They don't like you, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. I'm the most nicest person out here. I mean, I talk shit during the game. That's during the game. But
that's
other than
funny,
that,
dude.
I'm picking them up. You know what I mean? But it's
funny, dude.
Texting Tabor now, Tabor, what the hell?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say, what's up with Breezie? Oh, Dante Petty, he don't exist for me. Look, it don't exist. He got me blocked, bro.
Listen, yeah, but players be on their block stuff. I get it. I like the fact that the 49ers though are looking to not franchise tag, 5th-year option Brandon Ayuk. This is good. It's gonna give him time to work out a deal. They have their guys, man, and they want to keep guys together, and they have the ability right now to do so. They're gonna keep as many as they can while they can. And so I guarantee you Brandon Ayuk will be on this team, and they'll probably find a way to extend Deebo Samuel, because you'll never draft Deebo Samuel again, because
you can't. He's so, and for the 49ers team, he's so important. He's the straw that stirs the drink, right? He's like he's just like the ignition. He's like that spark plug, right? He kind of gets them rolling.
Yes.
But the only thing that I could see that makes him expendable, and I've said this, is now that they have CMC, he's kind of like that guy that could do a little bit of everything, the Swiss Army knife type guy like Deebo. So it does make him a little expendable.
Just a little bit.
Deebo does play a very physical style of football, but I don't think Deebo's as important to another team as he would be with the 49ers. And I think he knows that. And this team has really embraced him. So I feel like they're going to try to find a way to get Deebo back. But again, they only got a 3-year extension. So it will be interesting.
That's a wide receiver thing, though, Raj, if you think about it, right? Wide receivers aren't looking for them 5 years.
That's true. That's true.
They're trying to maximize off of their contracts
That's true.
So I mean,
they want to get that money.
Out of that realm of receivers that we saw, I think AJ Brown's the only one that got the 4-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
All the other ones got 3-year deals.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they're gonna do. You know, the Metcalf 3 years, McLaurin 3 years, Debo 3 years. I forgot who the other ones out there from that particular draft party. But I see Ayuk, you know, getting something like a 3-year deal because that's what they you know, the market keeps going up and they you know, they want to make sure that they're maximizing it and getting paid like the guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. So I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, 100%.
All for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. They like to maximize that guaranteed money. And again, Brandon Ayuk, if he comes in and has a big old year, he's about to get paid, man. And I think they're going to make sure they honor him because you're right. Every year there's a player that they make sure that they prioritize. This year it's Bosa. You know, last year was Debo. The year before was Warner. The year before was Kittle. He'll get his money. He just got to wait.
Pay attention to not what they say, but what they do.
Yeah,
there's a reason why Colton McKivitz is the right tackle. There's a reason why these offensive linemen now. Remember last year it was defensive linemen on 1-year deals. This is the one that got the 2-year deal, and then they're bringing in supplementing extra pieces on 1-year deals. Pay attention, because Nick Bosa about to get his bag, and then next year is going to be Brandon Ayuk. Just pay attention. Pay attention to how they're doing this, and they'll still draft the tackle. Like
they will, they'll still get them. So because they got to build for the future. Because if Trent Williams goes, or once McKivitz's contract expires, boom, next man up. They got to keep supplementing that team with the young talent that they develop through. That's what they do. They develop these players. And you're right. They added 2 linemen. We talked about this behind stage. Obviously, everybody should know John Feliciano and Matt Pryor. They added those 2 guys, kind of Swiss Army knife guys. Pryor, he can play tackle. They're big linemen. They added some really big guys. They're bigger than they usually sign guys to. I like that. They got some bulk to them. They saw Philly, man. Those guys were like Lane John. Those guys are huge. They went and got some bad mamma jammas on the line. What do you think?
They did, and they signed them to 1-year deals, right? Yeah. And we're gonna see how these guys pan out coming into camp. And they did that because they're going to draft some guys, and they have guys already in camp to develop. All right. And so they're trying to see like who's going to be the best 11 offensive linemen they're going to take, who's going to be the best 11 defensive linemen that they're going to take, or 12. They might go at 12 this year. Who knows? Like, this is why they continue to bring the guys. Right now, I believe the 49ers have 65 players on their current roster. They have to get that number up to 90. That's another one of the new rules, right? It's straight 90 to 53 now. There's no more.
Yeah, you got one day, you cut them, and
one day.
That's crazy, man.
That's crucial, bro.
That's bad, man. Like, because there used to be like cuts in between, cuts. Now it's like, boom, you all out of here, bitch. Like, damn.
I guess they're trying to make. What do they do? What the hell is the NFL doing? I
don't know. It's crazy to me, man. That is wild when I saw that rule. Speaking of rule changes, there's been a couple. I want to bring up some of these. Real quick, my man 49er Jeff says Ayuk 1K, easy, man. He's gonna get 1K again this year. Especially if he's motivated to get the bag.
I called him BA2K. Yeah.
BA2K, his second year getting 1,000. I like it. Yeah. Okay. I like it. I want to get to these rule changes. There's a few of them. The first one is 0, jersey number 0. We got Sam Womack posted in the story today. He said Agent 0. He wore 0 in college.
He wore 0.
Diomedor Lenore yesterday was talking about it. He was live yesterday, and I asked him, and I was like, "You switching up to 0?" He goes, "I'll let y'all know in 2 days. We'll see what that means. We'll see what that means." And then Debo, he said, "I don't want 0. I want number 1."
Number 1.
He wants number 1. Jimmy Ward
found out it was going to cost him $1.5 million
for a number change. It's crazy.
No, he has to buy all the current printed up jerseys.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they charge him $1 million.
He could resell them. Oh, Debo's hotcakes, man. The dude sells jerseys. Like everybody won a 19. You know what I mean?
I know.
Unfortunately, it's gonna cost him. That's why he said it's too expensive. He wanted to switch to number 1, but it's too expensive.
I knew it was too expensive. I didn't know that's a lot of money. I mean, obviously he's got the money.
I ain't spending that.
But still, $1 million to change your number. That's crazy.
I mean, yeah. I'm good. Dalvin says, checked out Jodeci song "Every Moment Is So Sweet." Yo, they got a lot of records that didn't get released as singles. They have really good albums, but that comes down to Devontae, man. Like, he was the mastermind behind that. Like, people be like, "Yo, how did Timberland get his start?" Devontae. You want to know who was making beats for Devontae? Timberland.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that? Like,
it's all the producers. It's all those people behind the scenes that don't get the credit.
It's the VA crew.
We see all the faces that are out there doing the thing, but it's the people behind the scenes, the DJs, the producers, all those people. That's the real star. That's the real star.
Devontae was the one that took in Timberland, and Timberland was in the studio as a little kid and just learning the game. And if you want to know who put Pharrell on, it was Teddy Riley.
There we go.
You know that song, Rum Shaker?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
That's
Rex and Effect.
That's Pharrell. Yeah, Rex and Effects. That was a rap group produced by Teddy Riley, and that's Pharrell playing the sax, bro.
That's Pharrell.
That's Pharrell.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy. You just blew my mind. I see. We learning a lot on the.
This is the R&B. Welcome to the R&B show, baby. Woo! Let's go. R&B all day, yo.
Rex and Effects. I didn't know that was him.
Effects, I'm about to wreck you.
Oh man, here comes the rump shake. Oh my god, my mind is blown.
The pizza's like sweeter than candy. They don't know nothing about that. You're gonna get a little hip hop mixed with R&B. It all comes in the same category. Yeah, man.
You know what I'm doing after the show? The first thing I'm doing is I'm playing that song. I'm gonna be like, yo, he's right. You got fucking. That's crazy. It's for real. That's crazy.
Man, I'm done.
I'm done. Man, that's funny, dude.
The contribution still coming in. It's R&B time, Raj. I
appreciate all the contributions. Isley Brothers. I love the Isley Brothers.
You're contagious. Drive me crazy. Give me what you got.
Man.
Yeah. Was R. Kelly in that song? Because I feel like
he was like on all their
nah, we can't sing that anymore.
Yeah,
you Jack.
We can't. You know, that's the thing about Isley Brothers. They're heavily connected. But R. Kelly, we can't. It's like Carbalone in the NBA. I can't support Carbalone in the NBA.
Feel you 100%. Yeah, all right, 100%. We got the questions coming in. All right, put your R&B questions in the thing. Give us 3 battles. Raj is gonna pick from the joints. All right, and we're gonna 3 joints. Raj, you can start them joints. I don't care about my age. My age is a good thing. Because we live.
Genuine.
That's differences for me. Yeah. What about you?
Okay. Let's see. If I had to pick between So Anxious and Differences, I like So Anxious. Come on, man. That was a jam, man.
It was the jam, but Differences, yo. My whole life has changed.
Ooh.
Since you came in, I knew back when you were that special one. Speaking of that, I'm probably a little biased because one of my best friends produced and wrote that joint.
Oh, so there you got a little, bias.
Because 9 o'clock, home alone, paging you, wishing you. That song was dope. It's just too damn hard.
It was good stuff, man. Man, WayneBreezie, we need to get you a record contract. Come on.
Nah, man. Lake City is the dude that's out here. Listen, man. If y'all don't know who Lake City Fresh is, go check my man out. He's putting out albums every single week. He is one of the best songwriter, producers, singers, rappers extraordinaires, man. Check out my man Lake City Fresh. He's right here in the chat. All right, he's gonna be working on our intro for the R&B show, so it's gonna be dope.
Let's go. Appreciate you, my man. So we got the next question from BZ with this. So we got 3 questions. My man, Shy versus Color Me Bad.
Shy.
It's actually a tough choice. I like Color Me Bad. Actually,
no. Hold up, Raj. F the groups. Let's do the song because both group songs sucked.
Yeah.
Except for If I Ever Fall. What's that song? And if I ever fall in love again, that trumps. Ooh, I wanna say
no, it don't, man. That's an iconic. Come on, man. No way.
That song had the bop. So that's tough.
That is
and
tough.
If I Ever Fall in Love versus I Want to Sex You Up. I know
Sex You Up. Come on. I don't know. It is a tough battle, but I'm gonna go with that, man. That's the one.
Okay. I'm going with And If I Ever Fall in Love. See how we different?
Cool. We got different music. Cool. I like it. See,
it's cool. Keep going.
We can't always agree.
Post some of these joints up here. I'm liking what I'm seeing, bro.
I know.
Oh, they get me amped.
Oh, here we go. 112, Anywhere or Cupid? Ooh, I gotta go with Cupid on this one, man.
Yo, it's Cupid for me, yo.
It's Cupid, yeah.
The way they wrote Cupid and the way that melodic flows, it's a trance, yo. As soon as I hear them guitars and the harp, I'm done.
It's over. It's over. It's over.
I love you. Yeah. And doesn't mean that I don't care. Oh, shoot.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a good one. That was the good one. That one, to me, it was easy. It was actually very easy to pick that one, you know. Let's see. We'll get one more. Let's get one more. This is the one, because Boys to Men, that's the one. Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You, or Bended Knee.
I'll Make Love to You for me. The Babyface song was the one that just transcended Boys to Men. It's I'll Make Love to You. But on Bended Knee was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and that was dope too. I can't.
That's such a hard one to pick, because you're right. Like when I'll Make Love to You came out, it was like, here they are, these like kids from Motown. They arrived, they sealed the deal. It was like, oh my God. But Bended Knee, come on, man. it's tough, man. If I gun in my head,
yo, Raj, start just putting shit up there. I'm seeing Shades by Shardo will rock, which I wanna rock with you, baby. Yo, Bobby Brown.
Oh man,
Bobby Brown was the man.
He was underrated.
I wanna roll with you, baby. The feeling is strong. I wanna
this one right here,
you, baby.
Oh, for one, I swear that was a joint.
I swear. By the moon and the stars in the sky. You know what, Raj?
Get it.
We're gonna have to take the R&B show and do an R&B show on Twitch.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Where we can sing and play. I'll get the keyboard.
We can play the music.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Good. Would y'all like that? If they like that, we'll do it.
I think they would, man. This is a whole show in itself, man. I'm telling you, God.
So save some of the stuff, guys. We'll be back. All right.
It's a bop, man. And you know what? Next week we'll come back. We got another show next Wednesday, just like we do every Wednesday. So,
matter of fact, next Wednesday I got a real show where I got to perform. So what I'll do is we'll do our show, and then we'll probably start around 7:30-ish, and maybe I'll stream live and give y'all some how I am on stage.
Oh yeah, let's do it. This is what I gotta see. I gotta see my boy in his real bag.
This is my favorite genre of music, guys.
Yeah. That's good, man. Ooh, Candy Rain. They got too many good songs on here.
Yeah, we better get off here, bro, because we got
any last minute
playlist.
Any last minute thoughts here, Breezy?
Last thoughts, man. Listen, the Niners are doing their due diligence right now, right? They're actually kind of like in cruise control, and they're really preparing for the draft, guys. And so, you know, we got some mock drafting coming for you guys. Raj and I will be giving you some stuff like that. We got 4 weeks to the draft. Get ready. I have no idea what the 49ers are doing in the draft. I will say this, their team and starters are pretty much set. Is there somebody in the draft that they're going to bring in here to come out and challenge one of these starters? It looks like to me, Raj, the theme of this year is competition. I don't know if that's what you're getting, but that's what I'm getting.
Yeah. It's competition. They're going to draft some guys that could come in and you know, push the talent they have. But I feel like they're pretty much set. I don't see them signing anybody else right now. I think they're just going to focus on that draft, and you know, whoever they come in is going to be able to compete. I do think that they'll draft a kicker. We didn't talk about this, but they did trade for Zane Gonzalez last week. Something that we didn't have on our show last week because that happened after. But Zane Gonzalez, he's not getting paid guaranteed money. They got him for a 7th round late conditional pick. He basically got him for nothing. Yeah. And the thing that Lynch said, he says he's not the kicker, he's a kicker. They still going for Jake Moody, baby.
Hey, town, stop. Peace hood.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. We're out till next week.
Peace out, y'all.